Hello, friend. It's Pat Sloan here for Crazy Quilty March. I am going to sit down here and talk to you today on this challenge because I need to sit because we're talking books. Books, books, books. I think books are about my favorite thing about quilting. Let me just get this a little bit closer here. Yes. So I am an author, which was probably the biggest joy I ever had was when I went into business and being asked by my first publisher if I wanted, which was Leisure Arts, if I wanted to write a book. And I was like, yes, I want to write a quilt book. I mean, because I love books. So who else? Raise your hand. So the challenge today, let me just get to it in a minute because I want to talk to you a little bit about books. If you are not a book reader, quilt books are a little bit different. So if you're thinking like, oh, I don't read novels, I don't like fiction, I can't maybe understand a book on tutorials, I would hope that you would take a little opportunity after today to look at books and look at them maybe in a little different light. When I write a book, it's a bit of a different experience than the tutorials I do on the website or the free patterns that I do where I have directions. The books are more encompassing. They have like pressing directions and things like that that are just a whole bigger, richer experience. All the books also have a sort of a section that's a tutorial section. So if you need to reference something, there's generally all the basic things are in the same books. You don't have to go look for another one. So if you are not familiar with me and the books that I've done and being an author, I have written 36 quilt books. They're not all still in print, but I've written 36 and I'm working on 37. And I'm working to get it done. I have a deadline. It's a hard, fast deadline. So a couple weeks, it'll be all finished and delivered out to my publisher, who is Martingale, the amazing Martingale team. So my current books, if you have been following me, you've taken a look at them. These are them. These are the current ones. These are all my Martingale books they're the active current. This is my most recent, the Quilt the Season. That is one of the samplers in the Teach Me series. So this is the group of them, and they sit on my shelf over here. I'll just show you over there. So my shelf over there, my koala shelf, they sit over there normally. But there's also so many other fabulous teaching books. Many of my friends are also authors, and when I used to do the podcast for 10 years, I spoke to many, 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 many authors. And so what I want to do is tell you a little bit about books. But let me give you the challenge first. So first of all, while I'm talking, think about your books. Think about what you have and, when was the last time you opened a book and looked at it? Because I have books for different reasons. So first of all, I want to show you probably the oldest book that I have, which is not a quilt book. It is sewing related. It is Mary Thompson's, Dictionary of Embroidery Stitches. This is my oldest book that I got in, I don't know, probably maybe even elementary school. Look at that. I loved to read. I was the kid like in 5th grade who wrote Red Pearl Buck books. I mean, they were like this thick and all about, another country. And I read those. So I was kind of a nerdy kid and I love books and diagrams. And I personally learn best by reading. There are a few things, of course, I need to see it happen, but I read best. So that is my oldest book. So I'm really curious if you're, wherever you are online, if you can tell me here at YouTube or over at my Facebook group, Quilt Along Pat Sloan. You might even share a picture with me over at Instagram. Tell me about your oldest book. So there are other books that I've gotten from different people that I've interviewed or friends that I've really found are super useful because they're very specific to a type of making. And so they're more like a whole book, a whole class in a book. And I find that very fascinating. So I've talked about this quite a bit for those of you who want to do fussy cutting. I think this book is this is so great because the authors did such a nice job, Nicole and Elizabeth, finding just the right way to explain how to look at your fabric to fussy cut. Another book that I love is this one by Diane Gilliland, and it is all about English paper piecing. And so that, if you want an English paper piece, this is like the Bible to me. I really think she did a fabulous job. And even my Australian friends who all English paper piece, this is the book they recommend to everybody. They're like, do you have that book? And I'm like, yes, I have the book. So this is the one that tells you all different shapes. You don't have to just do hexagons like a grandmother's flower garden. And the thing that I'd like you to do, I'm just going to sprinkle in here your challenge and wrap it up at the end, tell you exactly what to do. But while I'm talking here, think about what kind of books do you own? Have you bought tutorials? Have you bought mostly like pattern books? Have you bought books that are pretty and you like to read them and they're inspiring? They have like beautiful things in them, like settings and stuff. Maybe you don't buy so many quilt books, you buy a different kind of book. So just think while I'm talking here about the types of books. There's a whole other series of books that I highly recommend you collect. Yes, you should collect them. I had to put them over here in my rolling assistant because, I don't know, having all these books on my table, I don't want to break the table. They're heavy, heavy, heavy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, I had to build muscles. I'm doing this yoga now and like, oh my goodness. I'm not sure I built enough muscles yet. Oh, so here, I don't think this is even all of them. These are the Big Book of. Here we go. So they're by Martingale, and they are fantastic. They're pattern books. So they will have some directions in them, but their primary job is to give you ideas for your fabric. So they seriously are heavy when you're holding them all. Okay, so let me just do this one. Well, there was one I wanted to get. Oh, the strip quilts. There we go. I'll show you via this one. So the strip quilts has all kinds of quilt patterns in it that use 2.5-inch strips. Yes. So those are jelly rolls, or they go by a couple different names by the manufacturer. So when you come in here, you will see, like, let me find one. Like, here is a super cute pattern called Boxed In. And there's just, well, here on the back, I can show you. Here's some other ones on the back. But everything in here will be pattern using, here's a great one, pattern using strips. And the reason why I like this set of books is because if you bought a gorgeous fat quarter bundle, how many times have you seen on my Facebook group or even said yourself, oh, I bought this gorgeous fat quarter bundle. What do I make with it? Then you need the book. Here's the pre-cuts. Layer cakes, jelly rolls, fat quarter bundles. You can go through here and find a project that suits what you bought. So there's a really fun one with my beloved triangles. I know, you guys. And if you like to applique, that is gorgeous. And there's one like that's on scrap quilts. For those of you who adore using up those scraps, here is 77 patterns that are going to look fabulous with scraps. So I want you to look through what you own and see, do you have some inspiration books like that? Because they're very useful. You can just sit down in the morning or in the evening after lunch, have a snack, or even while you're eating, and look through your book if you were looking for ideas anytime that you need to find that kind of pattern. There's one other type of book that I adore, which are, I would call them coffee table books. So they're purely inspiration. They don't have any patterns. A lot of the ones that I have are history type books. So they have antique quilts in them and they have a story. But I'm going to show you one in particular that is probably my pride and joy book. It's one of the few books that I probably have ordered immediately when I heard it was coming out. A couple years back now, It's been a while. Was an exhibit in New York City called the Red and White Quilts Infinite Variety. And what this exhibit was a one lady's collection of red and white quilts, over 600 of them. Amazing. And the exhibit was put on in like the Armory, I think. So it was in a big venue, and it was free to the public for a week or so. And her husband gave her this exhibit as a gift. I think it may have been a birthday gift or anniversary gift. I have to go back and read that part. But here, if you've ever seen quilts being displayed like this, look at that. Yeah, so isn't that absolutely, like, it's breathtaking. I had the opportunity to go up and see this exhibit. I went up with some friends from here, and we stayed overnight, and we got to go to a gallery opening with Victoria Finley Wolf. That's where I finally met her in person for the very first time. And this exhibit, you just walked in, and there's one other picture I'll show you. And you've seen some of this, I think it's in the Armory, but it's tall. And so these quilts spiral down. They were stunning, just stunning. You just took your breath away. So here, quilt after quilt after quilt in my beloved red and white. So this is a favorite book of mine to just open up and look at. Sometime I'll go and get a few others like that are published. There's some like Sue Spargo. There's one, those her gorgeous, gorgeous quilts up close. You can see all the details. So I want you to look at your books and find out, your challenge today is find out where you have a hole in your books. Like, where are you missing something? You do not have any inspiration books where you can go and look for patterns? Do you not have maybe any good books that give you instructions on how to do something specific that you want to know about? Are you missing some of my books? That's a plug, So you pick up my books. I'm going to link to all these. So if some of these looked interesting to you and you wanted to check them out online, I will link them up so that you can go take a look. And as always, thank you for using my links. And this is a particularly long one here today. So I am going to let you go and go through your books, take some pictures of how you have them so that I can see. I would love to see that over on my Facebook group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. And if not, just tell me what type of books you're looking to fill in that you are missing in your collection. I love you, and I am so happy that you're having fun with this crazy quilty March. So I will see you online. Bye, everybody.